I have given a name to my pain. The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham.
You don't really think you'll win, do you?
I'm Batman.
Hey now, welcome to episode 3 of the Batman on Film vlog. We're going with vlog, right, Rick? Of his vlog.
Hey, we said our creative director,
Bobcast, I mean,
Justin calls that shot. I know announcer Rachel was overruled, but
yeah.
It's a vlog.
Whatever. All right. Anyway, episode 3 of the Batman on Film vlog. I am your host. I am also the founder and editor-in-chief of Batman on Film, Bill Jett Ramey, and with me today is the great, sometimes great, Rick Shew from Plano, Texas. Hello, Rick. How you doing, man?
I'm drinking out of my, because I have 2 young daughters. I see you have a Batman coffee cup. I have Elsa and Anna.
Awesome.
But I am a daddy of 2 little girls, so hey, that's why I drink out of this.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. So, how was
Wait,
what?
Let me see your shirt. Let me see your shirt. What are you wearing?
I'm wearing the Dadgum original.
All right, so mine finally came in, but I ordered the wrong T-shirt. It was right design, right size. But I like the V-neck shirts better than those shirts fit weird to me, just for me. So I'm sporting just my cool Batman
classic
shirt
Batman
today.
logo. That's
just classic.
That's
classic.
nothing wrong with that. All right,
it's actually my Twitter profile pic.
Okay, cool. You how was the Christmas party last night?
It was great. Went to my wife's company Christmas party, and she had just flown in from New York, and so she was a little tired, but she contemplated not going, but I'm glad we did. We had a great time, man. So if you know Dallas, Reunion Tower, it's the building with the stick and the ball, right? And that's the famous part of the skyline. It was on the top floor of that. It was a gorgeous view.
The picture y'all took was good with the Dallas downtown in the background was cool.
Yeah. The floor started to move, and it was going in circles.
Okay.
That was kind of a mind fuck, especially when you were drinking.
Yeah. All right. We're going to do a mailbag show. Maybe talk about a few other things. But yesterday, Rick, we did our episode 101, which was the official Batman on Film review podcast for Justice League. So I did want to give you a chance to basically have your final say, final thoughts on Justice League, because we're going to move on, you know. We're going to move on.
I'm going to listen to that today. I'm excited. I'm a big fan of Chris and Paul, so can't wait to hear what you guys all talked about. And just so everybody knows, I wasn't able to be on because I was on dad duty. I was going to birthday parties and good times. But look, I gave a review on YouTube. You can look at Rick Shew's podcast, Justice League review, however it's phrased, and it's easy to find. And I gave it a C+, and I basically stand by that grade. Now, I haven't seen it a third time. And the sad thing is, to be honest with you guys, I haven't really wanted to. I was kind of thinking that it was probably going to be a friend or two that has not seen it, and that I would just tag along and go see it again. But sadly, I honestly, none of those friends reached out. Most of them sat it out. They didn't even want to go see it.
You know what, Rick? You know Jake, my son, 16 years old, 6'2", 235 pounds now.
He weighs 3 pounds less than me, and he's an inch shorter than me. I'm 6'3", 238. Yeah. I'm a big guy. That's a big kid. I'm 42.
Yeah. You know, he grew up a Batman. You know, I mean, look who his dad is, man. You know, right. So we haven't seen it yet. He hasn't been having any desire to see it, and that's. I was like, you going to go see Justice League? And because, you know, the Silverado or whatever, the Regal now, the IMAX is just across the highway from my subdivision. You've been there for the watch parties. It's not like it's a trek to make it to the movie, you know. And he's just, you know. So what, you know,
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of telling to me a little bit, you know.
Well, it is. I mean, and the box office numbers reflect that mindset as well. The basic bottom line is this. I'm going to stick with my C+ rating. I don't know if that's going to change if I see it again. Maybe it even swings a little better. I don't know. Maybe it ends up being a B-. I doubt it. You know, I feel as though the movie is just what it is. I don't have a whole lot more to say about it. I certainly don't care to talk about the box office. I mean, I will be happy for that film if it reaches 700, and that's just where it's at. And I don't think that's even going to happen. And that's
I think the latest is mid-60s or mid-600 million worldwide. So hey,
look, which is unfortunate. So here's the thing: there's a lot of things about that movie that I almost like literally despise. What I will say is this: if you haven't seen it yet and you like the characters and you grew up watching Justice League, go see it. There's enough fun stuff in the film, and there's some really great moments. Look, Aquaman with Wonder Woman's lasso around him and giving his little speech, not realizing he's under her spell. It's freaking awesome. I mean, that's almost worth the price of admission, just that scene alone. It's a great scene. There's some good Superman stuff when you get past the mustache once he's back from the dead. All that's pretty atrocious. But once he's back, there's some cool stuff. Great post-credit scenes that probably are not going to lead anywhere, but they're still fun to watch. So, you know, it is what it is. It's an okay, decent, fun movie, popcorn film, but it is not worthy of these characters. It certainly isn't worthy of Batman, and it's time to move on.
Yeah, let's move on down the line.
Move on down the line. Let's let Matt Reeves come in and do his thing.
Yeah.
And let's hope I'm wrong about Henry Cavill as Superman.
Yeah, we both. I'm more optimistic. You're less optimistic about a proper Man of Steel 2 or sequel. You know, just another damn solo Superman film with Henry Cavill. Right. We'll see. I mean, he was awesome. He finally got to be.
He is awesome.
He finally got to be Superman. You know, for once. It wasn't very long in the movie, but at least he was he was Superman, man. You know, I mean.
Hey, listen, the scene of Cavill. A spoiler if you've not seen the film, taking his glasses off and opening his shirt. Look, at least we got that. That's a great. I mean, I almost cheered in that moment just because it's just I love him in the role, and that's such an iconic imagery of Superman. It was great to see that. So again, that's also one of those moments that's kind of worth the price of admission. There's a good handful of them. Yeah. So it's not a terrible movie. It's just not what it should be.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, let's move on. All right. We're going to answer some mailbag questions. So guys, if you see me looking down, I've got my phone. I'm doing it, pulling it right off of Facebook. We'll start off with Rick says, "Why is Rick Shew so awesome and Jett Ramey sucks so badly?" Sent from the web.
That just came over Telegram, man. I don't know. Do you have an answer?
It must have been someone who was really drunk at 8:48 p.m. last night. Is all I got to say.
I wasn't drunk at midnight last night. We were good. We didn't even go out with the crew afterwards. We just came home.
If anyone thinks that Rick and our banter on Twitter and Facebook is real, well, you're right. No, we're kidding. We're just having fun. Okay. All right. Anthony says, Rick, and I'm gonna paraphrase some of these.
Okay.
We know Affleck's out, and that Reeves is considering new actors to take on the role of the Caped Crusader. But let's assume he's getting carte blanche to recast the entire Gotham corner of the DCEU. And for the sake of argument, and the reports are true that Jake Gyllenhaal, is his first choice, or his first choice to take on Batman. Do you all have specific actors in mind that you'd like to see take on the roles of Alfred, Gordon, the Joker, etc.? Rick, what do you think?
Those are good questions. So first of all, once we get confirmation that Affleck's out, and that one I'd put big money on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're a gambler. So let's say he's what hand are you playing at the blackjack table, and how much you putting down? If you get my analogy.
I'm gonna split those aces. I'm gonna double down and put $1,000.
Okay. All right.
So here's the thing. So let's just say he's gone, because that would be shocking if he wasn't at this point. I'm personally kind of emotionally invested in the Jake Gyllenhaal stuff, and I know some of those rumors they have some basis for validity, and so I'm all for that. I think he's I think the guy's a beast. I really do, and
he's an actor.
He's a real actor.
Yeah,
he's an actor's actor, and and nothing. I've said this a million times. I love Affleck's performance in BBS as much as that movie's a mixed bag for me. I think he sleepwalks through his reshoot stuff in Justice League. That's just me. So I'm looking for a methodical actor to come in, and yes, damn it, I'll say it, and along the lines of someone like Christian Bale, who will just inhabit the role, not just by virtue of looking like he is Batman. Okay, because aesthetically, Ben Affleck is, he walked right off the comic book.
Yeah, he looked like Batman out the comic
right.
book. Okay,
right.
that's
yeah. Right. So Gyllenhaal does not necessarily have that. I don't even know how tall he is. He's 6'1"?
He's 6'1"-ish, yeah.
6'1"-ish, okay.
Yeah.
And Michael Keaton was a great Batman. He was all 5'8", 5'9", so
yeah.
That doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter, yeah.
It doesn't matter. But I just think Gyllenhaal is one of those guys that will immerse himself in the role. I think he's one of those actors that's like a Christian Bale, that's like a Gary Oldman. I'm going to reference another Batman alum, is because these guys just become who they are. You look at something like Heath Ledger's Joker, right? Mm-hmm. Heath Ledger's Joker, and I love Jack Nicholson's Joker, okay?
Yeah.
Will not knock Jack Nicholson's Joker. With that said, Jack Nicholson's Joker was Jack being Jack's Joker, right? Yeah. And that's great, and I love that, okay? Heath Ledger wasn't Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger was this madman clown. Yeah. That's who he was. Yeah. And that's the kind of actor that Jake Gyllenhaal is, and that's what the role deserves. And so I hope. Now, in terms of the other questions, God, I was just driving around the other day, and I wish I would have explored it a little more in my head, because I was actually racing, going, okay, so let's just say that I'm right, and this is just me guessing. So if I'm wrong about this, I'm not claiming these are from sources. Okay, I'm just personally guessing that Matt Reeves is going to reboot Batman completely. I think it's going to be its own universe. If he doesn't do that, my guess is, and I've said this a million times, that he's going to do a prequel of sorts, where he doesn't necessarily have to reference any of these pre-existing characters like Superman, Flash, and what have you, okay, or the events that have transpired. If that happens, then obviously I don't want him to recast. If they're going to do that anyway, keep Jeremy Irons. He's great.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be recast just for sake of recasting. But if they do a complete reboot, to come full circle to your question, who is Alfred? God, I don't know. Can they pull the guy from Gotham to do it? Is that weird? Because he's one of the few things I like about that show. That guy's awesome. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't.
I'm not good on who would you like to see play roles. That's not my thing. So I'd always go back, get me an actor. Get me someone who can act their ass off.
Get me an actor, right?
And I'm with you. If you do the prequel thing, which is basically you're soft rebooting if you do the prequel, because as you go along you can just kind of forget everything that happened, as you make sequels to the prequel. And I would have no issue if Jeremy Irons came back, or J.K. Simmons came back in that regard. But if they're going if Matt Reeves is rebooting, hey, reboot.
And so there's rebooting, and there's soft rebooting.
Soft rebooting, yes. And
a soft reboot would be like Batman Forever, where it was technically in the continuity and a lot of the crossover actors, but obviously aesthetically very different. What I would say is this, in terms of if Jeremy Irons comes back or not, however exactly Matt Reeves handles that, let's talk for a moment more about what kind of Alfred we would like.
Yeah.
And what I love the juxtaposition of Michael Keaton's fatherly, beautiful, brilliant performance as Alfred in the Nolan trilogy. But then I like the way that Snyder handled his Alfred, which he was real hands-on, and he had a backstory, and it was never established in the script, but supposedly there was a backstory where he was more head of the family security at some point. Yeah, something like that. And I just think that's cool, and it just gives him a little bit more of an edge. So where do they go with Alfred and, with a new incarnation? I don't know, maybe kind of a hybrid, maybe make him a little grittier than Jeremy Irons was, but a little bit more fatherly at the same time as Michael Caine was. There's a lot of things they can do with it, and there's a lot of actors that can handle it. Can they just get maybe Gary Oldman to do it? Would that be weird?
Yeah, well, yeah, it would be weird, but
the thing is, he's such a chameleon. He's such a chameleon. Yeah, you wouldn't even visually think about anything for it anyway, right?
That's Man, I wouldn't hate that.
No. Did you ever see True Romance? Remember his role in that? We played the ghetto guy.
Yeah.
And then you see him in Dracula.
Yes.
Dracula. The
Have
dude
you
is
seen him now? He's playing Churchill in The Finest Hour. I mean, he's getting Oscar buzz. He looks like, I mean, he's
amazing.
You don't even know it's Oldman, you know.
Nope.
So
so maybe they can let's make Gary Oldman Alfred. There, I said it.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman.
So I guess the answer to the question, guys, is we want good actors.
There you go.
And cast in these roles. I'm that's not good at like, oh, bring in so and so, or you know. I do know this.
I used to be better when I didn't have kids and I didn't miss a movie that was released. I was so much better at this. But the Oscars come around and I'm like, I haven't seen 90% of these movies. I'm so far behind on reading. That's not just comic books. That's everything. I just reread a book recently, and I was like, I just reread a book that I've read twice before, and I haven't read like 50 comics. I'm behind on a bunch of the other books, and I'm way behind on movies. So I just don't know. Carry on is my answer.
All right. Simon asks, well, we both kind of talked about this yesterday on the phone. What do you think about the Robin costume for the Titans TV show?
I think it's awesome. I will say this. When I first saw it, I had a knee-jerk reaction, and I hated it.
Yeah.
And I feel ridiculous because I tweeted it real fast, and I made some snarky emoji face.
Yeah.
And then I immediately deleted the tweet. I was like, what am I doing? First of all, that's kind of a jerk move. Like just let it absorb for a few minutes. And if anything, of the many things that Chris Nolan taught me, I'm gonna talk about Nolan for a moment. Is never to judge a still that comes out, because even as much as I love Batman Begins and I was excited for The Dark Knight, that first Joker still that came out, I remember going, "What the hell?"
When they broke it down by pixels, and it was
well, he just had the smeared makeup on.
Yeah,
and
it was
like,
it was part of the whole.
I was like, this is not even the Joker. What is this? Oh God, this movie's gonna go off the rails. Oh man, this Joker's not gonna work. And I was so wrong. Like you couldn't have been more wrong about that than I was.
Yeah.
So I've learned to.
Dude, a lot. There was a freak out on epic proportions when he was cast, Heath. When that picture was released, and that was part of the whole viral marketing. They did it where it was one pixel at a time, and it slowly came in, and the whole picture was revealed, which was an awesome campaign. But people are like, "What?" And all that, So
and I fell victim to that, and so I told myself, never do that again, because what Nolan taught me was you got to see what the director's vision is and these characters in context.
Yeah,
right. You have to see them in the universe they're going to inhabit. So then I kind of just thought about that, and I went back and looked at it, and then I thought, why did I even go that deep with it? This guy just looks like Robin. I think I got a little distracted by sort of that 80s smoky
I would like to see
blue light background this week.
Full shot of it. I mean, I thought it looked like Robin. I mean,
it looks like Robin. The costume is great.
It looks like Robin. I mean,
he looks great so far. The background is cheesy, but so what? I mean, the costume is. You and I were talking yesterday, and you said it kind of looks like a little bit of a heightened Chris O'Donnell from Batman Forever costume.
Look, that costume wasn't bad in Batman. I mean, except for the nipples, but I mean, overall, the costume was pretty good.
Yeah, the 15-inch codpiece was a little distracting as well. But anyway, take off the nipples in the codpiece, and the Robin costume in Batman Forever is awesome. I didn't understand that weird Nightwing hybrid thing he did in Batman and Robin, but I don't know. We can't talk about that movie much anyway. But I'm excited for that show, and I see a lot of people like FJ, for example, that seems to be very excited about the writers that are attached to it, and so that gives me confidence. And I think it's I'm looking forward to seeing Robin back in live action.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
Right,
okay.
I am excited for that. Yeah.
Yes.
So cheers to that guy. He looks like freaking Robin. It looks great.
Yeah. Are you going to give that show a shot, or?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I gave Gotham a shot. I've watched Gotham religiously for 2 seasons,
and it's like on demand type deal. DC, Warner Brothers Entertainment has some sort of Netflix, their own version, kind of Hulu thing. It's going to be released via that outlet, but I'll
figure that out. Yeah, I'll get that. Yeah, that's something, because I'm a big fan of Robin, and yes, I'm a John Blake apologist, but we recognize that
he's the greatest Robin on film ever.
But we know that he's not the traditional Robin, of course. So we haven't had that since Chris O'Donnell, and we can do better.
Yeah. All right. Michael says, going forward, if they continue to keep the DC movie universe, which he believes they should, he should not. He's all in, dude. He's all in. He wants to keep going on with what we've got.
I respectfully disagree with that,
okay.
but maybe he'll get his wish and maybe he'll make it work.
Do you think do you think it should center around Batman, seeing that it's DC's most successful superhero? And would you like to see a true world's finest movie?
So these questions are predicated on whether or not I agree with the premise that the DCU should continue
let's talk about
anyway.
That first.
I don't think that
ain't
it
happening
should
anyway.
Well,
look, they're soft rebooting.
It probably isn't going to happen
They're soft rebooting this thing. Period. Don't you agree? Even with Wonder Woman and Aquaman, I mean, it's going to be the same actors, but they're soft rebooting this thing.
Yeah, I said this before. I will be shocked if there is any reference in Aquaman to that's the next. Think about this too, guys. We're not getting another DC film until next December. We're going to have 2 Star Wars movies before we get the next DC movie. Literally.
And, Mario Francisco Robles.
Mario Robles
Brought up on the
I like that dude.
episode. Yeah, he's good. Episode 2 of the blog I did with him the other day. He thinks it's planned. And I said, you know what? It may be 13. Look, this is not a bad idea, Rick. Having a 13-month break with the DC on film.
Oh, I see. Okay, I thought you were saying.
And if it's not planned, it's not a bad thing. They need to kind of chill for a while, and you got a year over it. You got 13 months to kind of get your stuff together and decide what we're going to do here. Well,
so, I think Patty Jenkins should probably go into production.
Well, that will, yeah. But I'm talking about having a film. I mean, going from Justice League to Aquaman is a 13-month period where there's no DC films hitting the theater. Now,
okay, you're just talking specifically about that window.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
Yes, Wonder Woman's going in production sometime next year.
Gotcha.
Well, Wonder Woman 2. And Shazam is supposed to go in production, which Shazam, I'm telling you, is not going to be. It's not going to be part of the whole thing.
I don't care if these films even worked and the DCU was continuing as is. I still would want Shazam to be its own thing. Why in the world would you want to put handcuffs on that and put him in this universe and have to adapt to this aesthetic and these go balls out on Shazam?
Yeah, we've already said that.
It's a live action Incredibles and just be goofy and tongue in cheek and frickin' have a blast with it. And
I mean, if you want to connect it to the DC universe, have Billy Batson be a huge DC Comics fan who loves Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and all the characters, and then then he becomes a superhero. So then you're mentioning Superman, you're mentioning Batman, but they're fictional, in that world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's just that would be my take on the whole thing. So
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. So again, going back to his question, going forward, you center the whole universe, the cinematic DC universe around Batman? We've talked about the Batman cinematic universe before.
Okay, so I'm going to explore the hypothetical here.
Okay.
Because again, this question is predicated. First, I have to agree with that premise and then answer it, because really I don't have an answer because I don't even get that far, because I don't think that's what they're going to do or should do. But let's just say that they do, and you know what, they might. If that's the route they do take, then what my guess is that Batman and Wonder Woman, particularly if Wonder Woman 2 is successful, will be the center focus in terms of any marketing going forward. And I think the films will. I think they'll be more likely to have solo films versus many of these other characters that will more or less end up being supporting characters in some kind of DC universe, much like most of the Avengers are. If you think about it, I mean, most of those guys don't. Most of those guys don't have spin-off films. Is that fair to say? I mean, let's think here. Yeah, most of them don't. I mean, just doing the math. So, okay.
All right.
I mean, we haven't even had another Hulk movie since
there's
Norton's
all
film.
sorts of
I know there's
legal issues and rights issues with that, but we talked about Gotham City Sirens and flipping Harley joke.
I don't think that's happening.
Looking at the camera, Batgirl. I'd lay money that ain't gonna happen, brother.
I hope it does.
I bet it. you know the whole thing.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
I know the whole thing, and I know, and if it does do it, is Joss Whedon going to be attached to it?
Yeah.
You know, look, Gail Simone tweeted the other day, and I don't want to get inside her head. I've met her once, but I obviously don't know her. But she just tweeted, "Just give me a damn good Batgirl movie," or something like that. It was just sort of a war cry, and I was like, I retweeted it. I'm going, I feel you.
Yeah,
I feel you, friend.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Gotham City Sirens is going to happen. I think
that I don't.
You think we'll see?
I think Batgirl could happen if it's its own thing. I just, this all for me goes back to, I do not think they're going to, at this point, it's not even doubling down. It's like quadrupling down on this universe. I don't see how they can possibly do it. And John Campea released a great video today. Did you ever get around to watching that?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would encourage people. Now, there's some things I don't necessarily agree with, and he did not mention the success of Wonder Woman and how that should continue on. But I think there's a little bias with him on that. I don't think he's a fan of Gal's Wonder Woman very much. But regardless, John's great, and he made some great points. And I would just elaborate on a lot of those. I would encourage everybody to go watch that. He makes a lot of great points.
Okay. Okay. A lot of questions about, if it's not Gyllenhaal, who would you like to see as Batman? And there's several people asking about Armie Hammer. What do you think about Armie Hammer?
The first thing I think about Armie Hammer is that I was blown away. I fell in love with Social Network. It's still such a great film. And then when I found out that he didn't actually those weren't actual twins, I thought, this guy's a talent. I mean, I already thought the twin actors were damn good. Like, for him to pull that off, to have to act, I mean, that guy, I was genuinely shocked. I didn't know anything about him before that movie. I don't even know what year that came out. I think late 90s, early 2000s, whatever it was. But
it was later, a little bit later than that. Man.
Was it?
Yeah,
maybe. Man, you know what? My timeline's so jacked. I can't believe it's about to be 2018. Yeah. God. Anyway, I'm open to. I'm right now a little emotionally invested in Gyllenhaal. I can't lie. So I'm hoping that doesn't fall through. And if it does, then I don't know. I mean, I'm open to. It's just like kind of the Alfred question.
I would like, the guy has been cast as Batman before, which is ironic. He was like 21, 22, and he was playing Batman in Justice League Mortal, which, as much as I was against that happening at the time it came out, because it was right in the middle of The Dark Knight and Batman Begins and all that, I think the story would have been much better than Justice League we got. It was a little bit more grounded, and anyway, that's another conversation for a different day. But I would take Armie Hammer if it wasn't.
He's great. I want to see a great actor.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about someone who would be physically Batman. I mean, this cat he's 6'4", 6'5", dude. Big, and he was. Look, I thought he was great in The Man of U.N.C.L.E. I didn't hate. The Lone Ranger, like a lot of people, it was a major flop, but I didn't think it sucked. And the dude can act. I mean, he can act. I think he gets some grief that he can't. But I mean, he's in a role right now, and I don't remember the name of the film, but it's getting a lot of Oscar buzz. But someone will know what I'm talking about and let us know. So. I guess it all goes back again. Give me an actor. The physical aspect. Yeah, he's got to look. I would prefer it to be someone like Bale or Kilmer or Clooney. They were more leading man type dudes than Keaton. I prefer that, but with Keaton was awesome too. But you know what I mean.
And I'll say this too, right? Is that I'll probably get hating off for this from comic book purists, and that's okay if I do. But here's the thing. As much as I genuinely liked Affleck and BVS, and I was excited for him to return, and I wanted him to direct, and all these things, I'm over it now. I'm gone. So just that's my brief history with him. With that said, even with in my phase where I was on the Affleck train, there is something about okay, let's go back to Chris Reeve, Richard Donner casting. Chris Reeve was tall. Okay, he was 6'4". Okay, he was an inch taller than me. He's a tall dude, and but he didn't look like Superman. Handsome guy, but he was skinny, and they put a lot of muscle on him for that film. But he's still skinny.
You know who trained him, don't you?
I know the answer to this. Who is it?
It was Darth Vader.
It was David Prowse.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. It's David Prowse.
Yeah.
The original Darth Vader.
He was a soap opera actor. He had brown hair, but when he didn't look like. Yeah, but he got jacked up, and they dyed his hair black. He looked like Superman when it was all said and done.
But really, if you think about
it, your point is, I get it.
But no. I would say that if you look at Superman the movie, he really isn't that bulked up. He's still skinny.
Well, I mean,
he's bigger than he was. Here's my point: is that what that casting taught me even as a young kid that was reading Superman comics, by the way, I might add, is that you're looking at this going, you know, Superman in the comics is, I mean, he's big, he's bulked up, and then you've got this skinny guy playing him, but it works because in live action and in reality, if Superman was bulked up, and then you had Clark Kent walking in the Daily Planet, and Clark Kent's naturally bulked up, you're really not going to put two and two together.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the whole thing with the way he would, as Clark, you know, kind of punch over, and was very, you know,
truly made you believe that he was a different person. And my point is this: is that when Affleck's 6'4", 250-pound Batman walks into a room, you're kind of going, really? No one's putting that together? I mean, it's just almost too obvious. And that's why I think you look at people like Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, Chris Reeve, that make these characters work because it's about their performance. Yeah. And the performance will supersede what in our heads should be considered flaws from a physicality standpoint, because they don't look like the comics. But really, that's what makes it work, because what translates to live action from a comic, from animation, it's just different. It's different. That's why we've struggled making Robin work on film. Yeah. As great of a character as he is, you make him a 13-year-old kid or a 15-year-old kid, it's weird. You can't do that in a live action film. Yeah. And there's just certain things you can't do, and I don't think you can have certain physicality. So I think Batman may be served better by someone not quite as aesthetically perfect as Affleck.
Okay. All right.
Did we just walk around the block to cross the street on that answer?
Well,
whatever.
It's fun. We do that a lot. Anyway,
thank God this isn't like live TV. Yeah, we'll do commercial breaks. We would never survive in that meeting.
No, we'll do a few more. We got a lot. And a lot of them, you know, guys, we'll get, you know, I'm going to get to it. We'll probably get to it on podcasts and stuff. Here's one. This is one for, you'll like this question. I want to hear your take, because you've talked a lot about it. Hamad says, how much has the Superman brand been damaged film-wise since he has now been in 4 straight, at best, divisive movies? And I guess he's counting Superman Returns in there.
Man, that's a good question. It's hard because I have to detach myself sometimes. Like, I love Superman 3, but I know Superman 3 was crap. Yeah. Okay. Right. That was a crap movie. Really, there hasn't been a great Superman film since Superman 2. If you take all things into consideration and the way critics responded to it and audiences and how beloved it is and everything, Man of Steel, I personally love, but it's a divisive movie, man.
Yeah. I love Man of Steel, but I've got to admit it was a divisive movie. Yes.
My buddy Micah is one of the biggest Superman films I know, and he has disdain for Man of Steel. He just thinks that's not Clark's parents. That's not Clark. That's not Superman. He has he has some valid points, and I think about people like him. It's a divisive film, and I hate to say this, but I think the answer is obviously yes. I mean, look, Superman 3 was in 1983. Okay, it was a long time ago. Mm-hmm. But they tried to bring that franchise back in the late 80s with Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, and that was just a disaster. Yeah. And then unfortunately, we lost Chris, which is atrocious. Just a beautiful guy, man. But you fast forward to 2006, and we get this Bryan Singer reboot that I was personally attached to at one point. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But that was Brandon Routh trying to basically be Christopher Reeve. That whole movie was just a love letter to the first two Richard Donner films. The events that transpired after that didn't even exist. So it didn't work because it didn't let it stand on its own. Brandon Routh, he seems to be a great guy, and he's a good actor, but you can just tell, like, everything he was supposed to do in that movie was try to be like Chris Reeve, act like Chris Reeve, you know, and it was just unfortunate. And I like Superman Returns, by the way. I don't hate that movie at all. I don't hate it either. No, there's some good stuff in Superman Returns. There's one scene in particular that's one of my favorite Superman scenes on film. But again, it didn't work. Then you get the Man of Steel, and it's divisive and everything. So then they bring in BVS, and of course we all know the history of that. And then, so yeah, man, I think Superman as a whole which also is the reason why my prediction, unfortunately, is that I don't think we're going to see Cavill again, because Superman as a whole has a damaged brand on film. Unfortunately, Cavill is physically attached to, you know, the most recent incarnation that unfortunately audiences didn't properly embrace. So if they're going to try to rejuvenate this character, which is damaged, it has been damaged on film since the 80s, I might add. This isn't something new, but how do you do that and bring in a familiar face that audiences have already tuned out? And that's why I think they're going to just have to start over.
That's the issue. There's that I don't want to say that Cavill's toxic, but he's tied to that BDS Justice League failure. I mean, that's be hard to, you know, even how great the movie is. I don't know if it's going to be a hard stigma to overcome. I hope they still do it and give it a shot, but I understand the argument that, yeah, I mean, why remind people of that? But, you know, of course, on the other hand, a lot of mainstream folks don't even pay attention to continuity and stuff. They just whatever. So
they don't.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Let's do one more, man.
All right. I got a couple more, and we'll get the hell out of here. And this is just a comment. Dan, we talked about who we'd like to see, or we were asked who would we like to see as Gordon or Alfred. Dan says, how awesome would Bryan Cranston be as Commissioner Gordon in the Batman? Sign me up yesterday if that was the case. I was a huge Breaking Bad fan. I think that dude can act like a son of a gun. Yeah.
He's a powerhouse.
And he actually voiced Commissioner Gordon in the animated Batman Year One movie. So
that's right, he did.
Yes, he did. Let's see.
My wheels are turning now. You can see him and hear him. Yeah.
Okay, I got to answer this one, and then we'll do one that will leave us out. All right, Mauricio. You know old Mauricio. He's on Twitter, follows us. And I did want to get your take on this. With all the rumors regarding a build-up toward the Legion of Doom, doesn't this directly contradict Warner Brothers' alleged intentions to de-emphasize their shared universe? Isn't this a sign Warner Brothers is going to repeat the same mistakes as before? Look, I had a rant. I ranted on an article in Batman on Film about this, and I ranted on the podcast yesterday. As cool as that scene was, it's I don't know why they thought at the last minute it would be a good idea to put this back in. This was something shot under Snyder. They put in that's a tease for what's coming in the future when they've already said they're going to de-emphasize the shared universe. They're going to focus on solo films. And it's the same thing, Rick, as trotting out the directors of the DC universe on film when only 2 of them are left. They were on stage that day at Hall H at Comic-Con. That would be Patty Jenkins and James Wan. The rest are gone. It's the same thing as announcing gosh knows how many films and this release schedule into the 2020s when most of those films aren't going to happen. So why do this? And I'm not saying the scene wasn't good. That's not the point. The point is, why do this when you're not sure where you're going in the future with DC on film? What's your thoughts?
I feel the same way. I thought it was kind of odd. I don't know what their point to that was. I mean, obviously their point would be that would be continuing, but we'll see what happens, guys. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that scene will be one of those things that we referenced years down the road going, what ifs and what aboutisms and all that.
Well, you know, I've had some people say, well, they did it for the fans, you know. Well,
Right.
okay, you're doing it for the fans. Most of the mainstream couldn't care less. My wife didn't even know that was Deathstroke. And Rachel, you know Rachel's just by osmosis being around me knows a lot about the comic book DC universe, well, probably more than many girls, ladies her age and the stuff she's interested in. I mean, she's certainly not a comic book person, but, you know, she's married to me and has to be to a certain degree. She thought it was an evil Spider-Man. She was like in her head, and I laughed. We were coming back from Austin from the watch party, and I was like, she said, you know, at first I thought that was like an evil Spider-Man, and then I thought, well, isn't Spider-Man like not DC? And and you know, how many other people had that thought, you know,
Right.
that had a clue? But, you know, so if you're doing it for the fans, Rick, aren't you just giving them false hope?
Right.
You know?
Right. No, you are. I don't. I mean, it was a cool scene. I loved it, but I walked away going, "Why? Why did they do that?"
Yeah. And it wasn't in there, and they put it in at the last minute.
It wasn't even in the early press screenings, or it wasn't in the script.
Yes.
Okay.
The other one was the race was in the script. Yeah. Okay. There was.
It's unfortunate because Jesse sure looked cool.
Yeah, he looks. Yeah. I'm scanning for this one last question I wanted to get in there. All right. Basically, we were asked if, since it is now December, if we ever got a super cool Batman-related Christmas gift, or what's our favorite Batman-related Christmas gift. Rick, you ever got anything Batman?
My sister always finds me cool Batman shirts, and she finds them. And like, she found me a shirt last year at Half Price Books. It was like Gotham Detective Batman symbol, something. I have it. I wear it all the time. It's awesome. So I always look forward to her stuff because she just finds, like, you found this at Half Price Books. I mean, it's one shirt. It wasn't like it was a series of shirts on a hanger. Yeah. Or my sister just finds cool stuff, just little knick-knack things. I love it. Yeah, I would be the same way. I haven't gotten like some, you know, $350 collector's item sign thing for Christmas, but I'll get every year. I mean, it's not hard to shop for me, dude. It's either Batman, Dallas Cowboys, and I'm happy, you know. I'm happy. So I always get something Batman every year. T-shirts, I love T-shirts with Batman. You know, keychains, whatever, that kind of stuff. I'll love. All right, guys, if we didn't get to your question, apologize. We got too many as we can. Of course, me and Rick are two Texans who like to talk and carry on quite a bit. So it is what it is. So we'll try to get some more questions in another vlog, and I'll do a mailbag here in December and so forth and so on. So Rick, got anything to plug? Any final thoughts? And no, just, again, I want to echo that. Thank you guys all for your questions. It means a lot to us that you care enough to hear what we have to say. Follow me on Twitter, please. Shewrick, SHEWRICK. Go to my little fun offshoot satellite Batman on film, Shews, SHEWS apostrophe S on Facebook. It's just a fun little site, and we just banter and talk about Batman. All right, cool. You can follow me on Twitter at Batman on Film. And that's all we got for today. Again, I'll echo what Rick said. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for watching. And Rick, Batman on Film 2.0 coming in less than a month, dude. You excited? I'm very excited. It's going to be awesome, man. Looking forward to all exciting new things happening in 2018 for us. Yes. So, I was about to say now, so Rachel will take us out, but she will not. I'll take us out. So, before we go, Batman on Film, authoritative, definitive, and the Dadgum original. Yes, sir. Thanks guys. We'll catch you next time.